think we made it, guys.
We did. We're live.
Successfully, we're live, I think. We're going to just wait a couple minutes, just in case there is anybody who was flagged. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Money Wise Wednesday. How you guys feeling?
I'm excited to be here. I've been waiting for this all week, y'all.
We got a lot of stuff to go over today.
Indeed, we
so
do.
we're going to just wait for just a little bit. So Facebook can put the word out that we're live, so all the thousands of people in masses can come watch our video.
Join us. Share. And if they're not following us, tell them to share it and then follow us. Or follow us,
All of the
share.
above.
All of the above. Let's just do it.
Okay, are we appropriately apart from
I
one
think
another?
so.
I don't think we're quite 6 people. We won't touch.
We're not
All
quite
right.
6.
All right.
Okay, we're good. But we're gonna do our very best to be pretty close. All right, so yay, we got some people watching. So we're just gonna give them a few more seconds
Cool.
before we dive in. And I'm gonna adjust the screen real quick so y'all don't mind us, all this official stuff. I just want to make sure we can see Amber well, because she is our expert guest today. Yes, perfect. And Herschel, you missed the memo about wearing floral.
I did.
So we're going to have to do better on that next
But he did get the memo about blue. So
I did.
I think we're doing good.
Yes.
I think a flower or something in there may
Sure.
compliment.
Whatever floats your boat. Pollen. Put some pollen.
Hey guys, if you haven't noticed, this is going to be a very informal type of live event. We're going to bring you a lot of good information, but at the same time, we're going to bring you some laughs too. This is us, guys. This is us. This is not us putting on. This is us being us, but sharing some information that's relevant to you. So stand by.
Yeah, we're going to start in just a few seconds. So, yeah. I think we're just going to start.
Let's do it.
It's good. It was about 2 minutes. So it's good. All right. So welcome, everybody. I am Kelly Walter, Vice President of Community Development here at Envision Credit Union, and I've got some special guests with us today. First, I want to introduce Herschel Holloway. Herschel is Community Development Manager here at Envision. Herschel, tell everyone a little bit about what you do.
Yes, I'll be happy to. Again, I'm Herschel Holloway with Community Development. I'm a Community Development Manager. Part of my responsibility is engaging the community through community outreach, but also sharing with the community in ways to help, one, enhance their credit, repair their credit, build their credit, financial counseling. Those are some of the skill sets that the organization has equipped me with to share with you.
Excellent. And then our expert guest today is Amber Stevens. Amber is Vice President of Risk and Compliance, a very, very important role. Tell everyone what that means. What do you do for us?
So I do a lot of different things, but one of the main things regarding this topic is fraud increases year over year. And it's very important to make sure that we find ways to help protect our members. So we always want to assist our members with any knowledge that we have that we can provide to you so that you can safeguard your assets.
Yeah, very good. So before we get into the heavy stuff, let's talk about, first of all, a couple of lighthearted things. I think we're doing a giveaway.
Yes, we are doing a giveaway.
Okay, so what's our giveaway? Does anybody know?
Money, of course.
Money. So I think we're doing a $25 gift card. And what do they need to do?
All we ask you to do is tune in, share, comment, something to engage us to let you know so that we can enter you into this drawing that we're going to have every Friday. $25 is yours, guys. All we ask you to do is engage.
So we're going to do a drawing for one lucky viewer. And so right now we have less than a handful of viewers. So if either of you or any of you comment, you have a 100% chance, right? Or 75% chance.
That's a good number.
Depending, or maybe 25% chance, better than a 0% chance of winning. So yes, we're live right now to talk about fraud protection, but we also want you to be able to enter because not everybody can watch right now. So our goal is to try to keep this under 20 minutes, but if for some reason you need to go back and reference some of the information later, you'll be able to see the video on our Facebook feed. You can comment later as well. So ask any questions you have. Hopefully we'll be able to address them as they pop up, or if you come up with something that you want to ask us after the video has published and no longer live, we'll address those as well. Cool. So y'all ready to dive in?
Let's go. That's pretty good stuff.
All right. So heavy topic, right? Fraud protection, especially during coronavirus. Herschel, can you tell us why was this topic the one that we decided to talk about today? Why is it relevant?
It's super relevant. It's probably the most relevant topic considering our vulnerability with the COVID-19 outbreak. The pandemic has taken our level of comfort to a totally different degree. And right now, we need to not only educate, but we need to remind those that are super vulnerable to what could come, but remind those of it has happened to in the past to make others aware as well. So today is the day to talk
what I'm
about
hearing
this.
is that because like when we are when we're in panic mode, maybe our guard for one thing might be up, but our guard maybe for other certain topics might be down, and we fall victim.
Beautiful
right?
way to put it.
I think there are cyber criminals out there. I think we'd all agree that are preying on people right now, all over the world, because people are scared, right?
Yes.
So they're taking advantage of our fears, our vulnerability,
Yes.
The uncertainty that we
Yes.
have.
Yes.
And so we're going to talk about those specific topics today. And so we see in times like this when scams and fraud, cyber fraud are heightened,
Yes.
right? They're peak.
Yes.
They certainly peak. So we're hoping that because it's the first topic that we're going to talk about on Money Wise Wednesdays, is that you get ahead of that a little bit. Hopefully that you can set some precaution, right? Some precautionary steps in place. So, all right. So Herschel, tell us a little bit about some of the types of scams that we're hearing about.
Absolutely. We're seeing a number of different scams that's taking place. Most recent, the text link scam, where they're sharing a text link telling you to click on this link to route you to a different site, and Amber is going to go into full detail. But I'm going to share just one or two more. The email link, right? There's another email link scam that's coming out that forwards you to a different direction for keystrokes to be noticed, recorded, and for them to have access to your personal information. But fake and fraudulent charities and challenges to donate, those are going to run rampant right now. Let's protect ourselves. We all have that little sense of wanting to do good, right? Mm-hmm. And we'll do anything we can to get that notion to feel good sometimes as humans. But let's protect ourselves not to be vulnerable to give without cause. Right now, there are people that are preying on us and wanting us to give in those directions. But let's make sure we're mindful of researching the charities and the donation methods and channels that we're contributing to make sure that we're getting that self-fulfilling feeling, but we're doing it the right way.
Yeah, so I've been hearing about a particular scam where folks are getting an email saying, hey, we have tons of sanitary type materials and products, because it's really hard to find that on the shelves, right? So they're saying, click here to place your order, but it's from an unknown source.
Yes.
Takes you to a site that looks like it's a legitimate company, and then when they get there, they can either purchase an item that they're never going to receive, right, in the mail, or their card information is not secure, so it's compromised. So they've got that information. And then I've been seeing emails as well as text messages saying, stay up to date on all the coronavirus news.
Right.
Click this link.
Right.
Amber's going to talk a little bit about that, about what providers and news or organizations you should really be, trusting, right, and taking advantage of. So we're hearing a lot of those. Amber, what are you hearing? What are some other things?
So there's a lot of phishing attacks, as you're talking about, that explore current COVID-19 pandemic situation that's going on. So you're getting emails, texts, even potentially voicemails, asking you to dial a number and call them back. Also, if you're receiving phone calls and you actually press numbers within those phone calls, it sometimes puts you into another call queue where you're getting exposed even more, so they're going to get more potential calls. Obviously, we want to make sure that we're protecting our members, but then they're trying to impersonate financial institution, health cares, federal government agencies. We get a lot of those all over. So, and then criminals with possession of card information. They've somehow obtained card information at one point or another, and they're spoofing telephone numbers. So that's essentially, they're spoofing the financial institution's telephone number and calling their members or their customers to get information about their cards, and using that. There's multiple different things, from money mule scams to online dating and job scams. It's all out there. But
So for those who don't know, can you explain what spoofing means?
Please.
Because that's a word that we hear, right? Because we understand what that means. But what about just the average consumer that doesn't know what that term means? What does it mean?
right. So it's essentially They have different things out there now that's even apps or other devices that you can use to pretend as if you are calling. So if I was to call you, I could change the phone number and make it look like I was Envision calling Kelly.
Okay.
So it would come up as 942-9000, and Kelly would assume that it was the financial institution when it may have been a fraudster on the other side.
Yeah, I've gotten calls before where people go, yeah, you called me, I'm calling you back.
Right.
And I'm like, I didn't call you. And that's because they got a missed call from my number because my number got spoofed.
Right.
Okay, so that's what that means. Thank you for clearing that up a little bit. All right, so you've kind of shared what's out there. We're talking about email links, text messages, potentially phone calls and things like that. So we've kind of identified ways that potential fraud is being presented to us as consumers. I'm sure anyone who watches this video or at home or who may see this later might be asking the question, so what is Envision doing to monitor and try to catch and stop as much financial fraud as possible on members' accounts? Amber, can you speak to that?
Absolutely. We monitor our members' accounts. We look for any suspicious fraud activity that may be occurring on your debit card transactions or online banking. We have a lot of other monetary instruments that we use to be able to look through, members' accounts for suspicious activity to get notifications. But
Okay, good. So we're around the clock, and I'm guessing during times like this, we're probably even relying on that tool and technology to help us keep our members safe. Okay. So what if then Envision does, through one of these tools that you've mentioned, identify potential fraud? Would Envision ever contact me as a member, and how, in the event that there's potential fraud on my account? Because a lot of us are concerned about picking up the phone or responding to some sort of notification on our phone.
So we do send out text alerts if we have suspicious debit card transactions that we're inquiring on. If you get a text, it will be from a 5-digit number, not a 10-digit number, but I'll go into all of that towards the end of the session.
Okay.
But we also have phone calls that go out from our fraud area regarding debit card transactions, as well as if you're not able to answer the text alert, you'll actually get a phone call and they will leave voicemails as well.
Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about details about that. What sort of questions they should be asking if they're a legitimate source, or things to be mindful of that they shouldn't be asking, right? Okay, good. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. So if I'm a member and I feel like I have fallen victim to fraud, I have noticed something on my account or something with my debit card that's specific to my Envision account, what should I do if I feel like that something's happened to me?
So one of the biggest things that I would recommend anyone do who's fallen victim to fraud would be go to the Federal Trade Commission website. Within their website, it gives you a guide as step by step how to follow and how to help you along the way. Then there's also the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau that you can go to their website as well. Credit bureaus to get fraud alerts put on your accounts for your credit. And then also being able to contact Envision through our contact center, the 850-942-9000, or do a secure chat.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Now, I know that sometimes when someone has hacked our account, tell me a little bit about if there's something on our account versus debit card. Explain to us the uniqueness of I guess what identifies a particular checking account number, like a routing number or something like. Let's talk a little bit about that and what the best solution might be, because it's my understanding that sometimes if we feel like someone has routing numbers, that the only and best way to, or one of the best ways to prevent that again, is to cancel that account and create a new one. Well, sometimes I think when we think about that as a consumer, it's very frustrating to think, I don't have to close my account that I've had for all these years to create a new one, but why is that a safe alternative for me as a consumer?
So your debit card number is essentially just a 16-digit number that's given, and you can easily change the debit card number, issue a new debit card after the other one's been blocked. It's not hard-coded into the account as being the only card that's on that account, so we can issue you different ones. As far as an account actually being compromised, if you've given someone your account information or they have your account number, That's a little different because it's unique to you as an individual. So we would recommend at that point in time that you do come in and open a new account, because
Okay.
if they have that, they can create ACHs out of your account, and they can do other transactions off of your account. You know, you can send a wire out of there, potentially. You know, you just want to make sure that we're protecting our members.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, that's good. That's good information to know. Now, we also know that during times like this, there are particular age groups that are usually targeted. What are we hearing right now regarding the peaks that we're seeing across the country? Is there a particular age group right now that is more susceptible to falling victim to fraud?
So, when I looked at statistics on the Federal Trade Commission, from 2019, there were an age range of 50 and older who typically had the higher risk of having more money taken from them and fraudulent activity. They're also the ones who are reporting it more than any other age group as well. So it's really important to make sure that we are reporting it to the Federal Trade Commission when we do have any type of fraud on our account, that, you know, we're reporting all of those who are victims so that they can get accurate numbers.
Okay, so if you're 50 or above, you may be more likely to be targeted than other age groups. Doesn't mean that other age groups aren't, right? Because
Right.
we're all
Yeah,
getting
we're
those
all-
weird text messages and emails
We're
right now.
all susceptible.
But it sounds like that number is certainly heightened because of what's going on right now, because they're being preyed upon.
I would agree. I would
Yeah,
agree.
preyed upon. Okay. All right. So thank you, Amber, for all that. I know there's a lot of stuff. We're hitting you guys with a lot of information, but again, we're just trying to, really press upon the cautiousness, right? The cautiousness of all this. So we've identified or talked about the ways that scammers or cyber bullies and cyber fraudsters are putting things out there. Let's talk a little bit about what we can do to maybe prevent or help us identify, or steps we can put into place to keep us safe and to keep our accounts safe, right? Herschel, I'm going to let you kind of tell us, like, what are some of the things that we should be doing?
Well, honestly, some of the tips to prevent some identity theft and fraud from taking place is make sure you have access to your online account by way of Envision members. We're meaning eBranch online. Another option is utilizing the Envision app on your mobile device or any type of remote device that you have. Moneyline is another 24-hour automated system that you can gain access to your account, checking the status, the balance, all sorts of things. You can actually do transfers just through the Moneyline piece itself, so you don't even have to wait to speak with anyone. But most importantly, your information and your ID should be up to date and current with all of our members. Please, if you're watching this, Envision members, please ensure that your ID and your information is up to date on file with us. But for the viewers that are not members, please make sure that information is up to date with your current financial institution. Don't click on any links in any online site that you're viewing or emails from a sender. Know who your senders are. Know who your senders are. Follow more accurate and reputable news outlet sources such as the WHO, the World Health Organization, CDC. They're going to have the most up-to-date and current and accurate information for anything that surrounds the coronavirus. Okay, and I got a special one that I want to kind of share, and it's the Card Valet. Card Valet is a beautiful tool that we use, and while I'm not going to elaborate on it, I'm going to turn the floor over to Amber. She's the Card Valet guru, and she knows all this stuff forward and backwards. So if you could you elaborate on the Card Valet for some of our viewers?
Absolutely. So our Card Valet is a free app that we offer to our members, so they can download it, and it's actually out there as an app for anyone to download, not even just our members. And you can put your debit card into the app, and it will allow you to get notifications of any time your debit card is being used. You can turn on where you want to use your card at. If you would like to turn off gas pumps, if you know you're not going to be using it at gas pumps or grocery stores in a certain amount of time, and you can turn those on when it's time to use them. You can also turn on traveling alerts or notifications when you're traveling. It's just a great app to be able to use for your car.
Yeah, I use it. I love it.
Yeah,
I get a push notification for every transaction that takes place on my debit card, and I love it.
Absolutely.
I love it. Yeah.
Can I share just a couple more
Yeah,
tips?
please. Yeah.
Please, if you don't mind. Public Wi-Fi access. That's probably one of the most often use things. Listen, a sign that says secure, right, only costs $10. Don't let that $10 make you vulnerable to having your information compromised. Okay, so stay away from public Wi-Fi access. Use your own personal or something of a reputable nature, right? And last but not least, do not provide your username or password to anyone for your online banking. It doesn't matter who it is, family, friends, relatives. That is special and unique for you and you. Please do not share any of that information.
Absolutely.
Let me turn off the little button here. I thought we did that before the live. We're just gonna make sure.
But those are just some of the tips that I wanted to share, Kelly and Amber, with our viewers of how to prevent those fraud instances from taking place before they even thought.
Yeah, keeping an eye on it, can certainly. Sometimes, Amber, is it true that sometimes people who are being like they're the fraudster, so they're the one completing the fraudulent transactions. They might do a small one first, and then they'll come back because they're like, oh, this is a live account or this is a live card.
Absolutely.
And then they'll come back and do more.
And they'll test the waters, try and see what they have, and then there's also other things out there, that they can do the job scams like we talked about, and being able to get somebody interested in doing a job from home,
Right.
and they're not actually doing a job, and they're sending them a check for that. So.
Right.
They can start little and then grow larger. Romance scams. I mean,
Yes.
there's all of those different types of things. And money mule. I mean, if you get a check and ask to send money back, that's probably a red flag.
Yeah.
You probably shouldn't be sending money elsewhere. So.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Good information.
Yeah, a lot of good tips. I know it's a lot
It is.
to take in at once, which is why we're gonna be able to put all of this in one place for you.
Yes.
So there's two particular places to let you know that we are putting information as quickly as we possibly can. And one is our coronavirus page. It is our info page for coronavirus, and you'll find the banner right on our homepage, envisioncu.com, that has lots of information. And we're going to have a link that goes to our fraud tips page, which our fraud tips page is always active with current information throughout the year. We're going to update that to have some more specific all of this information will be there as well. I'm really interested, Amber, in that checklist that you told us that the Federal Trade Commission has. I feel like that is a really valuable tool to help others at home who don't really know what steps to take in the event that they have fallen victim to fraud.
And
so
it walks them right through it, and you sign up for it, and it will tell you step by step all the different, once you have filed a complaint with the Federal Trade Commission, as to where the fraud was.
That's a great tool. And just to clarify, is that any type of fraud, whether it's financial or my social security number? Maybe I go out and pull my credit report just to take a look. Okay, all right, good. So one-stop shop there, it sounds like. All right, Amber, so we've heard about some of the things that we're hearing about right now. You guys have shared some great tips on things to look out for, tools to use that we offer our members for free to be able to take advantage of those self-monitoring type programs. What are some final thoughts or warnings you would like to share with our members?
So when it comes to using your debit card, which we would love for all of our members to use their debit card as much as possible, and get use of that card rather than having to spend cash, because it's way more convenient. But we just want to make sure that everyone understands that we will never ask you for your PIN number. We will never ask you for your CV2 code, which is the 3-digit number that's on the back of your debit card. And we'll never ask you for the expiration date. So if you're getting any types of phone calls or text messages that's asking you for those items, please don't provide that to anyone. I mean, you should never provide anyone your PIN number. That's your personal identification number for your card. You should never provide that to anyone else. But aside from those, just if it's in a text or phone call, you should never give that additional information out. Aside from those, like I mentioned, the text alerts would come from a 5-digit number. It would not come from a 10-digit phone number looking like one of our numbers.
One of the spoofs we talked about.
Spoofing is very easy to do. The text messages, the only thing within the text message you would do would be yes or no or stop. If you did not want to get text messages anymore regarding those alerts, you would just type in stop. You would answer no or yes to the fraud questions that's being asked regarding the transaction. Obviously, it would be vague so that you would know what it is. As far as the telephone calls, they're only going to ask you for your zip code. They're not going to ask you for all of your information on your account. They don't want to know your account number. They don't want to know the whole full card number. They are only going to ask you for your zip code when you're calling in, and they'll also provide you with a number for your case, for your claim when you call in. So you'll give them that number. You can actually do it without talking to a representative, and you just enter the key prompts, and as long as you know that number. If you don't have that number, then you can talk to a live representative.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is when Envision Credit Union's card monitoring service representatives reach out to a member about a potential red flag, the only question they are going to ask to verify the identity of the person on the other end is their zip code.
Correct.
They're not going to ask us our street address.
No.
They're not going to ask us our date of birth.
No.
They're not going to ask us to confirm the last four of our social.
No.
Okay, so that's really important information for you to know.
Very important.
Because a lot of times that's how these people are getting our information, is they're pretending that they already have that information to verify. So then when you provide it, they're like, good, we now have the last four of their social, our algorithm is complete, we're gonna go, do all this stuff. Or verify the last four digits of the card number.
Right.
None of that is gonna be asked. So that's really good information to know. So if I get a phone call during all this craziness about the potential fraud, well, first of all, I'm gonna get a notification on Card Valley because I use that. But if I don't use Card Valley and I'm old school or get a phone call or whatever, I'm gonna know that the only thing I should answer is the zip code question. So if they ask me a question to verify other than that, I can go, hey, this might not be legit.
Right.
And
make some phone calls
make
back
some
to
phone calls to
financial
Envision.
institutions, us, and find out whether or not it's legit.
Okay, excellent, perfect. That's good. All right, I think that's it. We've covered everything. Amber, thank you so much. I know that you are so busy and inundated right now with decisions that are needing to be made and staying abreast of all of the ever-changing, fast pace. I feel like everything started happening really, really fast with coronavirus stuff, and now we're kind of slowing down just a little bit, but still staying vigilant and on guard, right? And I know you're in the thick of all of that. So thank you so much for keeping our members safe and providing this information.
Thank you.
And Herschel, I know that as one of our financial advisors, you see the fallout a lot of times of people trying to rebuild from stuff like this that they fallen victim to. And I know that it's really a passion of both of you that we get that information out to our members so we can try to prevent as much as we can from it happening to the next member. Yeah. All right, so Herschel, where can we find all of this stuff? We've talked about it a little bit, but if you can remind everybody, where can we find all of this?
Good. You can find it first and foremost on our website, Envision website, right? And then secondly, you can find it on our Facebook page.
Right, because this video is going to be in our feed. Perfect.
Really good. So Kelly, we mentioned at the beginning that was a gift card giveaway for $25.
Yes.
Is it okay if I ask you while they're watching, but we won't say it loud because they can't really see or hear us? Can we allow them to still comment after we close out the live video?
Yeah.
Is it okay?
They can do that.
Okay.
Yep.
She said it's okay, guys, so you can still comment after the live video.
Yeah, still comment. Yep, still ask questions, still share the information, and you'll be entered to win a $25 Visa gift card that we're going to do a drawing for on Friday. Next week, so this is the first topic of a series of MoneyWise Wednesday topics that we're going to be covering.
Yes.
We already have a topic for next week, do we not?
Yes, we do.
And what's our topic?
Can we talk budget?
Yeah, we're going to talk budgeting. And so right now, you guys might be like, really, Envision, you're going to pick budgeting? There's a reason why we're picking budgeting, because right now a lot of us are becoming much more conscious of what we're spending, right? Because we don't know what the future holds. We don't know how long we're going to have to be working from home or staying at home or feeding all the mouths 3 meals a day versus, school and all that stuff. So we want you to be prepared and have a plan, right? And so some of us are not really good at following that. So we're going to talk about budgeting amid all of this, and we've got some great news. We have our leader of our lending services department, Jason, is going to be joining us, and he's going to be talking about the Skip-a-Pay program. You guys heard about that and how taking the advantage of the Skip-a-Pay will help you get ahead on that budget is the goal. That's the goal. So tune in, same place, same time.
Same place, same time. Meet us there.
Wednesdays at noon.
Here.
That's right on Facebook Live. And any questions you guys have or a future topic that you want us to talk about,
Yes.
certainly comment on it, and we will address those and put them on the calendar.
Beautiful.
So I think we're done, guys. We can't high five or shake or anything.
I know, right?
Like fist bump. All right, good.
Our community, our
Thanks,
commitment. We'll
guys.
see you next week.
See you guys later. Bye.
I thought I was watching a TV show for a second.